right, boys and girls, here we go. We're rocketing into a fun-filled, exciting cartoon show. Hold on to your seats as we blast off to visit all of your favorite cartoon stars.
Let no cloud nor shadow sever you from Him. And our foe you meet, just keep in touch with Jesus. He will keep you sweet. Now that's not the one I want you to learn. I want you to learn there's something mighty sweet. We'll sing it together, all of us now. There's something mighty sweet about the Lord. There's something mighty sweet about the Lord. It really doesn't matter what the people say, what the people say. There's something mighty sweet, and there's something mighty sweet about the Lord. Sing, there's something mighty sweet about the Lord. It really doesn't matter what the people say. Now I'm ready for you. Girls, be quiet. Sing. Once more, let's listen. There's something.
So my brother says, I'll call back when you can think. I said, no, don't do that, because that's giving in to what the enemy wants. He does it anyway and hangs up. I think to myself, fuck, they won. Because if it were me, I wouldn't give in to this shenanigans. I would militarily fight it if I could. Because it's terrorism against the United States of America.
That somebody secretly, with quotes around the secret, slipped me some LSD when I was in the Army. That was going on regularly. Apparently it was a regular experiment that was being done. And according to Dr. Carl Jung, psychiatrist and medical doctor, there is no such thing as coincidence, that every coincidence has a deeply spiritual connection.
How much I have it all.
about the intelligence community. The U.S. military's secret mind control program engages in genocide, terrorism, torture, and war crimes. Using satellites across the sky and massive data banks in server farms across the country, it attacks innocent zombies with invisible rays. So you've got about 1,000 satellites in the sky and about 1,000 bases around the world, and a lot of the server farms across the United States with huge database bases in them, in those server farms. And these invisible rays compel zombies to engage in thoughts and behavior they would not otherwise have and do.
I decided that if you could use propaganda for war, you could certainly use it for peace. And propaganda got to be a bad word because of the Germans using it. So what I did was to try to find some other words. So we found the word council on public relations.
Now, one thing about everything I've told you, there's enlightened people out there and stupid fucks. Now, the stupid fucks, you know who they are. They're the ones sitting there incapable of believing any of this and fighting against everything I've said and others have said. That's the way it usually works. Have you been on the internet, for example, to see how fucking retarded everyone is on most comment forum places? And they're always fighting over something. And they're very violent as well. And they can't believe what I'm saying. They can't and won't believe what a government whistleblower says. We're not really anything in the world. The people who are, just living everywhere. You want to know how flawed the human race are? Look at everybody, how stupid they are. Religion. Everyone's enslaved. Instead of being in charge and everyone being equal, everyone's slaved, limited, fucked up, society screwed up everywhere. Hey, no harmonious system. There's geniuses amongst us, and we're living amongst retards. What I'm just saying is there's people out there who are extremely limited by the rest of society. Most of society is limited by itself, really. That's really what it's about.
Gotta think of a great new video. Gotta think of a video that's captivating intellectually, but it's also very funny. That's gonna be a challenge. And it has to be edited well also. No exercise, because it's easier just to be a fat faggot. It's easier to be a fucking loser. You worked out once to gain fucking 20 pounds. No, fucking good as shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care about anything. Nihilist. Nihilists don't care about anything, right? Is that what nihilists believe? Nihilist is like, a person doesn't care about anything, isn't it? It's not like a person who just thinks the universe has no inherent meaning. Materialism is disgusting. It's not just like a person who believes only material things exist, like a naturalist. It's a person who just values wealth and only seeks wealth in this world. Basically, just people who are spiritually dead. And as we all know, spirits exist, and the astral realm exists, and quantum entanglement. Total proof that our double slit experiment. Double slit proves that. Pretty much proves that when we observe things, it changes reality, which contributes to the scientific theory that contributes to the scientific theory that the universe is a hologram, holographic projection. And, you know, that's like a... Scientists debate that all the time. They think the universe is a hologram. That's what we thought for a long time. You know, as our brains still have the reptilian part. Still reptilian part. It's vestigial. Back from the time of reptiles. Of course, evolution's false. Helter Skelter. Yeah, I know who that guy is. He's the race war guy, right? Hey, oh God, getting close. Every time I think of the harpsichord, I just think of cunnilingus. Because I can't help but think like cunnilingus every time I hear a harpsichord. Makes my cock rock hard. Every time I hear a harpsichord. I don't know why, but it's like a harpsichord. Whoop! Gotta think of a night. I got my new video all the time. Every day, gotta make a video. Gotta show my work. Shit. Fuck.
Envy obviously has something to do with it, but there is a true basis for this debate. And it is whether America is in its ascendant or its decline. I myself think I recognize several of the symptoms that Edward Gibbon saw so acutely in the decline of Rome, which arise not from external enemies, but from inside the country itself. A love of show and luxury, a widening gap between the very rich and the very poor. The exercise of military might in places remote from the centers of power, an obsession with sex, freakishness in the arts masquerading as originality, and enthusiasm pretending to creativeness, and a general desire to live off the state, whether it's a junkie on welfare or a government-subsidized airline. In a word, the idea that Washington, Big Daddy, will provide.
Frankenstein earphone radio slave parodying puppet. You are a terrorized member of the master race worldwide. 4 billion eyesight television camera guinea pig communist gangster computer god master race. You're living, thinking, mad, deadly, worldwide communist gangster computer god secret overall plan for ages before Frankenstein controls 8-pointed niggers interpretable with 8 had no alphabet, not even numerals. Slavery conspiracy over 300 years ago. Ideally, tiny-brained 8-pointed nigger gangster government eyesight TV gangster spy cameras. Computer god new world order degeneration.
Howdy home, folks. Some of you perhaps know me as Hold the Phone. But whatever you know me as, I should tell you that a lot of my fondest memories are back in your part of the country. And I'll be joining a lot of religious people at the West Las Vegas Church of Christ, which is at 4400 West Tulare Street for a week's gospel meeting. That's October 27th through November 1st. I hope we'll see a lot of you there at 7:30 each evening, West Las Vegas.
The great mystery is all around us here. And we earth humans, us two-leggeds, we don't understand the great mystery. We can barely grasp it. All we know is that there's something bigger, something higher, something more. And we do our best to understand it. And so we brought this information through and hope that it helps some of you. And it helps spread the light and the truth. And I'm imperfect and my ego sometimes gets involved and we make mistakes. Some of the words that come through, I don't interpret them correctly, so we do apologize for that. But we came here to this place, this old, timeless, ancient space. And if you look right back over here, you'll see the great sand dunes. Millions and millions and millions of years of time has created that here on the earth.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. You read my mind. It's incredible. Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, it'd be great to see you again. It feels like it's been forever. Yeah. Yeah, and I miss you too. Yeah. I'm still doing that.
I love dressing up my little sissy men. So much prettier dressed up in pink and frills. Makes such a cute little girl. So much better than that male frame you were poorly stricken with. So we remedied that situation, don't we? Put you in a wig, some makeup, stockings, heels. But my absolute favorite thing to do to you, my little
control is to control people without their conscious awareness. Again, television is a prime example. Think back to whenever you have observed young children or older adults sitting, watching television. They have this glassy-eyed, vacant look in their eyes because they are in a trance state, in a hypnotic state of mind. This is very important, very significant, that the medium of television has the capacity to do this, and it doesn't matter what you're watching. The flickering effect of the television image, although it appears to be static and stationary, it is actually flickering. We don't see it consciously, but subconsciously, the repeating visual pattern of the flicker induces the trance state. And that's the basic principle behind hypnotic programming, is that you get the subject to focus the attention of the conscious mind on one of the five senses. So in the case of watching television, we're talking about the sense of sight and the flickering image. In the case of sound, any repeating sound pattern will induce the trance state. Now, why this is important is that we are more suggestible to mental programming during this state of mind than at any other time. We're very vulnerable to manipulation at this time because the first order of business for a propagandist or an advertiser is to create the circumstances that will induce a state of mind that is favorable to the reception of their message. And that state of mind is the hypnotic state of mind, making television extremely important in this whole process of creating a unified mindset among the entire population. Have you ever bought something and then later on wondered why did you buy it? I think we've all had that kind of experience. Quite a few times. So that's a common everyday illustration of being triggered to make a purchase based on a conditioned response that has been built into us to have a preference for a particular product. In fact, that is the whole point of programming, whether it be by an advertiser or a propagandist. There's really no difference between the two. One's selling products, the other is selling ideas. The whole point is to build into us a conditioned response where we will respond automatically without thinking, with a preference for a particular idea or preference for a particular product. And that is the whole point of programming. If you think about it, whenever you hear news broadcasters speak, you realize that regardless of their ethnic background, whether they be black, white, Hispanic, or Oriental, they all have a similar manner of speaking. They have a speech pattern that is associated with the dissemination of true factual information on the news broadcast. Their speech pattern is similar to the pattern speech of a hypnotist. The news broadcaster looks directly into the camera and into the eyes of the viewer. Another hypnotic technique. The newscaster is an authority figure, encouraging the acceptance of the information. People, one, will accept information that comes from an accepted and respected authority. And then the repetition of the information over and over and over again is what builds that conditioned response, so that whenever they are presented with the information again, then they'll accept it automatically without thinking about it.
Do you think that the media is complicit in sort of the mind control aspect? Do you think that they are, because I'm a firm believer that the media is completely controlled.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's my feeling as well, in my experience, that the media has become the fourth branch of government.
some demon named Israel. Which, come on, you know it's Israel. So I looked it up, and from Samaria, Babylonia, Mesopotamia, Anunnaki, and this is where you get this here. This is our new world order. Okay? So you got Israel, see? And what is it? Name of super beings created by the Anunnaki. They can transcend space and time and appear as humans, as angels, in terrestrial terms. This is more of the truth here. Early Islamic scholars called it demonic creatures.
Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. Some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. The United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
The Department of Defense's Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA, set up a lab at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research and participated in Project Pandora. Scientists began zapping monkeys to study the biological effects of highly concentrated microwave frequencies. Similar studies were conducted at the VA hospital in Kansas City, University of Rochester, Brooks Air Force Base, Johns Hopkins, MIT, the MITRE Corporation, University of Pennsylvania, and other domestic and foreign labs. In one study, Dr. Jose Delgado experimented on 4 human subjects using radio waves, reporting they experienced different emotions, sensations, and colored visions. Delgado stated that these weapons were, quote, more dangerous than atomic destruction. With knowledge of the brain, he said, we may transform, we may shape, direct, roboticize man. I think the great danger of the future is that we will have roboticized human beings who are not aware that they have been roboticized, unquote.
I'm sorry that fucking they brought you into this, Nicole. Forced me into your environment. I'm sorry that they've used you to play this fucking game. It's sick. You agreed to it, obviously. And I fell for you. I mean, I literally love you. I literally love you still. I don't give a fuck that this shit is going on. If you just would have, you know what I mean? Like, get away from this shit. Let's go up in the fucking mountains and fucking live fun. Live free. Fuck this fucking lockdown prison fucking society. They all want to be captivated. That's fine by me. Let me be free. I love you. Can you honestly say you ever loved me? Is there any time when you thought you could love me anyway? I guess not. I guess not. It was a fucking hope and a dream. I don't mean to make you sad. I do love you. So it was all lies, so.
For you see, we are all escapists. But who among us is the great escapist? It's probably the greatest challenge you have. The purpose, don't you want to get out of this fucking prison? Don't you want to get out of here? Don't you want to leave? I know I do. I want to get out of this place. Yes, I know how to speak to that. That thing deep inside you. You still don't have a name for. Just the entity. The entity that decides what you think, how you think, why you think. I know how to talk to that thing. That's the thing you talk to in the mirror, isn't it? In this place, you must be stronger than what you're told is already being. You have to keep going, you have to keep running. So run with me. Run to me. Run.
We live on a mind-controlled planet. Mind control program is really of thousands of years long duration. Organized religion, institutional religion, going back millennia, whether you're talking about Christianity or Judaism or Islam, they would all be prime examples of social and mind control organizations. Our political structures are extremely corrupt. We have agencies that actually have concrete mind control programs, such as the infamous MK-Ultra program developed by the CIA in past decades. The food we eat is laced with chemicals that influence our central nervous system, our mind, and our thoughts. The programming we see on television is very much a mental, a mind control program. The very fact that we refer to the shows that we watch as programs should be a tip-off. By sports, by soap operas with their dysfunctional family and marital relations, or lack thereof, should I say, by the news programming that we watch, and so on. We're also programmed through the school system. In fact, when you go away to school, you were told what to think, what to read, you were told when you may speak, you were told what you may say, and you were actually graded on the content of what you write and what you say. In fact, if you don't go to school in the USA and in many other countries, you and your family are subject to police action, and they use these other individuals much as puppets. So a man such as the President of the United States, the President of France, the Queen of England, and so forth, will be puppets of this shadowy power structure that holds itself behind the scenes. This so-called organization, this organizational structure that lords it over the rest of the earth, absolutely control financial organizations and elites. They would control the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements in Switzerland. They would control the United States Federal Reserve banks. They would control the Bank of England. They would control the European Central Bank. They would control national parliaments and international parliaments, such as the UN or the European Parliament. They would control royal houses, whether in Europe and Saudi Arabia, Japan, or elsewhere. They would control technology, high-tech technology, and the development of technology. Ultimately, they would determine what technology is available in the public realm for the use of people like me and you. We have been massively lied to in our time. One of the biggest lies that we have been told, essentially a lie of omission, is that there are numerous secret, very large, very high-tech, deeply buried, very sophisticated underground and undersea bases
bases are numerous, they are large, they're sophisticated, they're technologically cutting edge, virtually science fiction style facilities. A variety of agencies and organizations are responsible for these facilities, in some cases religious. The infamous secret vaults of the Vatican in downtown Rome come to mind. They are extensive, they are deep, and really they conceal a lot of information that is the patrimony of humanity. We deserve to know the information and data that they contain. Military agencies, certainly American and other military agencies, have created many of these facilities. Other governmental agencies, corporations, large companies have created these, and then there's a good deal of evidence, most of it anecdotal, that indicates that so-called alien and or extraterrestrial factions and groupings have created some of these facilities as well.
Then we went up in heaven and we looked down on the earth and people were being bad and fighting, and we said no from heaven, and that was the end of the dream that I remember.
If you are not saved, please ask Yeshua to come into your heart and to make you a new creation in Christ. And please read Romans 10, 9 through 10. And I'm going to read it from the Complete Jewish Bible. If you acknowledge publicly with your mouth that Yeshua is Lord, and trust in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be delivered. For with the heart one goes on trusting, and thus continues toward righteousness, while with the mouth one keeps on making public acknowledgement, and thus continues toward deliverance. Thank you for listening. Shalom.